Hey, it's Aaron, and today I'm with the 2024 Toyota RAV4. This in particular is the off-road package, so the TRD Off-Road. The RAV4 was new in 2019 for this generation. They've made a handful of changes since then, but for the most part, there isn't a whole lot of change this year other than some couple of packaging things and color options. This green is beauty. The TRD Off-Road version, that we're looking at here, has all-terrain tires, a little bit of suspension adjustment, and just a kind of more rugged look, I guess. There's a couple of cosmetic changes. You might be able to see this roof rack, I think, is a little different than the standard one. And then on the inside, you'll have some TRD embellishments with like TRD on the seats and some red highlights and so on. For the most part, this is not a major change. This is not a serious off-roader. This isn't for, going to Moab and rock climbing, anything like that. This is a just slightly more capable adventure vehicle. So, if you get out on the dirt or out in the wilderness a little bit, this will give you a little more confidence doing that. So, anyway, 4-cylinder engine under here. 8-speed transmission, and all-wheel drive on this particular one. Front-wheel drive is default. Some of them, they're back and forth, right? So you get the lower-end models, or you get the more fuel-efficient versions. They're going to be front-wheel drive. Otherwise, all-wheel drive. The all-wheel drive is okay. It's good in weather. It's not really tuned for off-roading out here. You can see I found a little bit of mud. I didn't go too fast through it. This isn't really a blaster. This isn't like a, it doesn't say Raptor on it or whatever. So I did take it easy, but there was some mud. There was some, the trails out here are a little bit hokey, but not bad. You can do it in pretty much anything that has at least 8 inches of ground clearance. So let's talk just a little bit about design. So you can see the RAV4 holds kind of the previous gen Toyota crossover truck look. So you can't really see it from there, but you probably could see it right before this. That front grille is still the old style grille. They've moved to a different design. So when we see the next generation of this RAV4, which is probably going to be 2025 or 26, most likely I think 26 at this point, you'll see those changes along with the bodywork. So the bodywork, it's a nice look. I actually like this look. It's kind of, I guess, dated by today's terms, just because this was cool 5 years ago or whatever, but really it's a good look. This is a nice contemporary design. So you can see the body flow. That's pretty obvious. These extra stripes right here to create this belt line, and then to create this sort of floating look up here. Those are changed in the newer generation. Now they're just creases in the paneling themselves, but that carries over to the current, and then the kind of bullet shape that was right here. So you see this line right here creates this sort of bullet shape, but then comes up and joins the belt line there. Kind of a nice overall look. It's a forward tilted look, so it's not the camera that's tilted right now, nor is it, the terrain is actually tilting upwards that way. So the forward tilt that you're seeing to the car is all bodywork. That is not the car actually doing it. So the car is fairly level right now. It's slightly on an uphill, just barely going that way. So that forward tilt that you're seeing, that kind of muscle car look, that is all bodywork. That is all in how they did this running board, so it moves a little bit upwards on that end. They changed the roof line so that it comes in on the front there and stays more flat back here, so it has that kind of pinched in the front. All those things are creating that forward tilt, which gives it a little more muscularity. So really good design. I really kind of do like this. It's a like I said, it's just a good kind of contemporary look now. I also want to point out, now you can probably see them better, the TRD Off-Road package has these, what are they, Wild Peaks? These Wild Peak tires, AT tires. It has not a lot of suspension lift, but the suspension is stiffer. You'll notice that especially in this model in the steering. So one of my complaints about this generation of the RAV4 is the steering is kind of vague. It feels like, well, you're just not getting a lot of road input, and there's not a whole lot of resistance when you're driving in the standard models. In the TRD Off-Road model, that changes, probably entirely because of those tires. Because what happens is now takes a little more effort, just that ever so slight tiny bit more effort to turn the wheel, and you get a little more feedback into the wheel as you're moving. And I think that's 100% those tires. I don't think anything else changed. So that's a good thing. Also, as far as off-road capability, this is pretty decent. I think the tow rating is only about 3,000 pounds, so don't get excited that you can pull something really big. But if you saw my video with that Tacta Outdoors trailer, you could totally tow that behind this. You could pull, you know, like a Ski-Doo if you're into that. You could pull maybe a snowmobile if you're, or I just said Ski-Doo. Yeah, you could pull a Sea-Doo. That's what I was thinking of. You could pull any of those sorts of things back there. It would be good for that. And maybe a teardrop. I don't think they get to. I think the smaller ones aren't too bad, about 2,000 pounds or so. So you could do a few things with this as far as getting there, and you know, to go out and do stuff. And then you have this roof rack, which is functional. You just have to add crossbars. So lots of cool stuff on this one. So the TRD Off-Road model starts at about $40,000. So it's not terribly expensive, really. If you're into like ATVs or anything like that, you could pull one of those behind this too. So you could do a lot with this vehicle. I like that design. I'm not going to go over the interior and stuff. These have been around long enough that you've either seen that or I've already done it, because I think I had one of these a couple years ago and talked about that stuff. But it is decent amount of cargo, decent sized back seats, comfortable front seats. It's a good little kind of all-around rig. So I'm just going to wrap it up with that. I really like the TRD Off-Road package. I know there's going to be somebody that's going to say, but it's not really off-road or whatever. Well, that's great. If you're into your 4Runners and your Jeeps and whatever else, and you think that the only off-road rig is one that can climb friggin' Mount Everest and do the Rubicon Trail and whatnot, more power to you, whatever. Anytime you leave pavement, you are more or less off-road. Anytime you go out in a place like this where the roads are not maintained, you are off-road. And this can do all of this. So, yeah. Haters gonna hate. Anyway, that's what I got. I'm a little bit tired. I just got back from British Columbia. I was riding ATVs in the wilderness. My shoulders hurt. My legs are killing me because I was standing up and sitting down the whole time. I am not ready for snowmobile season. Whatever. 2024 Toyota RAV4 TRD Off-Road model. All right, this has been Aaron. Talk to you again soon.